and codes verified.
All right, Captains, I'm standing here with John Champion, the one of two voices of Mission Log Podcast. John, thank you for talking with me here on Priority One Podcast.
So good to see you again.
So Mission Log Podcast is now up to the next generation.
Yeah.
Tell us about this journey, because it's been a great journey, right?
You know, it's kind of a weird thing that I personally have come to the Vegas convention since 2006. And we launched Mission Log in August of 2012. So that Vegas convention. And here we are 2 years, almost exactly 2 years apart from when we launched The Cage, TOS. And then yesterday, Thursday, we launched our first TNG episode. Kind of timed it out, stretched it by a week to make it fit. And it's really strange, you know? When we started doing TOS, we thought, this is Star Trek. This is what it's all about. And then kind of before we knew it, it was over. It was like, wow, we just saw that entire cast do their thing, and now we have so much more to go. It's a bizarre feeling.
Are there, in this journey, I'm sure there are things that you've discovered about Star Trek that you didn't know before. What would you say is probably, at that top of the list, something that you can remember of being a great discovery?
That it's wildly inconsistent. I don't think it's a discovery. I don't think that's news to anybody. But when you do what Ken and I did, and Rod as well, he's kind of along for the ride there as well, and really try to analyze every single thing in order, you realize that for better or for worse, mostly for better, you have all these different hands in the production. You have all these different pressures on the production, whether it's the network, the actors, the studio, fans, whatever else, that all kind of have a little bit of a say in what happens. And it's not just sort of by divine right that a producer, whether it's Gene Roddenberry or not, sort of waves their hand and makes everything happen. TV in particular is messy and difficult and dirty, and it's kind of a miracle that anything ends up on the air at all. So when going through it, it's like, wow, these really beautiful, incredible moments are almost there in spite of all the difficulty of putting the shows together. The things that stand out for me from TOS are I would have to say that there's a consistency of message when it comes to certain things. The emphasis on human freedom, the emphasis on kind of a rational, skeptical, scientific look at the universe. Maybe that's just me projecting, but I'll go with it. And then how emotional Ken and I both were when we got to the end of Star Trek VI. That was an emotional thing for everybody who was a fan, but going through this systematic journey for 2 years, week after week after week, watching this in order, and we got to that last moment, and the signatures on the screen, I got choked up, and I know that Ken was in tears. So, it's kind of remarkable. It's going along the character journey.
That's awesome. Now, what are you looking forward to most? Now you're at TNG. So you're going to go through all 7 seasons.
Yes.
And then the movies.
Yeah, then the TNG movies.
Right.
I think, now, Ken and I, we still have this discussion about, do we overlap? Do we overlap the end of TNG with the beginning of DS9? And if we do that, how do we plug in the movies to make it make sense? Good arguments on both sides. We'll have to see what really makes sense.
That's fantastic. How's the community been?
I'll tell you what is so cool about doing this show. We thought that, okay, when you launch a podcast, the mark of success is interaction. Just, do people talk to you? Do they get it? And do they want to be part of the conversation? And we thought, okay, well, maybe what happens is you launch the show and you get tens of thousands of people, and they're kind of somewhat involved. And what we found that's really great is if you got 5,000 here, 10,000 there, but you get these people who are very passionate, who just get it. You just get what you're doing, and they want to be a part of that conversation. I love it. It kind of shocks me when people write in and they say, how dare you talk about politics on it? Well, if we're not, we're kind of doing a disservice to what Star Trek was trying to do.
Absolutely.
But people are free to disagree. Ken and I disagree about certain topics, but we always want it to be civil and thoughtful and insightful and respectful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's tell our audience a little bit on how,
Yes.
where can they go, where can they find Mission Log,
Okay.
and how can they reach out to you and be a part of that discussion and conversation.
Easy enough. Missionlogpodcast.com. That's sort of the central spot we want people to go. You can pick up our iTunes feed there, download the newest episodes as they come out. Discovered documents. That's where we post everything that are from the Roddenberry archives, memos, notes, letters. A lot of those personal things from Gene Roddenberry are there. And if you want to email us, missionlog@roddenberry.com. You can also check us out on Twitter and Facebook, Mission Log Pod. A lot of interaction there. I try to hit that every day and chat with people. Although while I'm in Vegas, there's not a lot of everyday interaction for me.
I hear.
But it's so cool to be at the table and have people come by and say, I love listening to your show, or I love listening to your show because you're insane and I disagree with you, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? This year, we both have to take home the podcast awards, the People's Podcast Awards. We both have to take that home.
Yes.
We have to represent Star Trek.
I agree.
Absolutely. So
all
we'll
right.
do that this year.
So start voting now.
Start voting now, John,
right,
thank you so
man.
very much. It's
Thank
a pleasure
you.
always to be able to chat with you guys.
Likewise,
the
man.
podcast is fantastic, and if you haven't checked it out yet, missionlog.com.